Let's just go across now to all our reporters who are tracking this developing story. But first, let's just look at these videos. Now, these clearly establish who's in control of the Shiv Sena at the moment. So here it is, the video of the 42 MLAs, the video proof of the 42 MLAs. Now just contrast that with the 13 MLAs who apparently attended Uddhav Thackeray's meet. So this visual, these two visuals just tell you the story. Eknath Shinde now clearly in control of the Shiv Sena. He has 2/3 of MLAs, 37, 42 MLAs on video. We counted them in that video released this afternoon and this evening. And our reporters tell us 2 more MLAs are currently headed there. This is only 13 MLAs. Loyalists attended Uddhav Thackeray's meeting this morning, a virtual meeting, and of these also, some have fled. For more, let's go across to all our reporters. So, Saurabh, what's the latest we're hearing on 2 more MLAs actually having left for Guwahati?
That's right, Sonia. It's not just MLAs. They also, one of them is believed to be a cabinet minister, Minister of Agriculture, no less. So, yes. Things seem to be crumbling around Uddhav Thackeray, especially when it comes to his hold over his MLAs. They all seem to be fleeing and all seem to be headed to Guwahati, which is where Eknath Shinde is, who is heading the rebel camp and is of course saying that the majority of the MLAs which are with him, which seems true from the pictures and the situation on the ground where MLAs are fleeing.
I just want to play these visuals because you spoke to Deepak today. Now, if we just play these visuals, Deepak was actually in the car with Aditya Thackeray just 2 days ago. And today he's arrived. We can see that Deepak with Aditya Thackeray just 2 days ago. And today he's arrived, welcomed by Eknath Shinde in Guwahati and very much a part of the rebel MLAs there. So, Sohit, we're seeing that in fact after Uddhav Thackeray's speech yesterday, more MLAs have left him, making it clear they see Eknath Shinde as the winning side.
Absolutely, Sonia. In fact, when I spoke to Deepak Kesarkar in the morning, he said that yes, we don't have issue that much with Uddhav Thackeray, but we have issue with NCP and Congress, and that is why we don't want to stay in that alliance. And this is, but now what we see is that Sharad Pawar spoke few minutes ago, where he's seen supporting Uddhav Thackeray. Now, if you compare to what did Sharad Pawar say and what did Sanjay Raut said to me in the afternoon, even Sanjay Raut said the same thing, that you should come to Maharashtra, you should come to Mumbai, let there be a flow test and we'll know who has the MLAs. That is the same thing what Sharad Pawar said as well. However, what the Eknath Shinde camp or what Deepak Kesarkar told me is that they don't want to be with NCP and Congress, and that is one of the biggest thing that they are protesting against. But yes, the camp of Uddhav Thackeray is getting weaker day by day. There are 2 MLAs who are on their way. I am hearing that there will be few more who will be going on that side. It will be important to see when do they reach, and I am also hearing that by tomorrow Eknath Shinde will have a comfortable number of Shiv Sena MLAs with him, after which he can take some steps. Now, these are what I am hearing from my sources based in both Guwahati and in Mumbai, and that is very important to see that what will happen tomorrow, because people who sat next to Uddhav Thackeray, people whom Aditya Thackeray himself was driving, who are known to be loyalist Shiv Senics, they have also left the camp and they are going over there. Deepak Kesarkar also said that for the last 1.5 years, he has been telling Uddhav Thackeray, he has been telling Aditya Thackeray that he does not want, they don't want to be with Congress and NCP. They are not getting the funds that they want. But despite that, nothing was done, and that's the reason he is taking that step. And that's the reason why majority of the Shiv Senics or the Shiv Sena MLAs as of now are taking the step.
We heard Sharad Pawar saying that they're suddenly woken up this after 2.5 years, and importantly, the Congress also saying they're ready to actually go out of the government. That means give up their ministries to save this government. But they're all seeming increasingly desperate at the moment. But I just want to go over to you, Ratnadeep, first on the latest there, because of course, the Guwahati emerging the unlikely hotspot of Maharashtra politics at the moment, as more and more MLAs seem to be arriving each on a chartered flight. So now the latest news, as Bombay reporters are telling us, that 2 more MLAs, one of them an important cabinet minister, flying in on a chartered flight, plus MLCs, plus others. What is the news you're getting from there? Why is it taking so long for Eknath Shinde to stake claim? Is he wanting to get, does he think many more MLAs will be coming to the Sena?
That's right, Sonia. In fact, there is a flood of Maharashtra MLAs here at this hotel behind me, the Radisson Blue, which has become the nerve center of Eknath Shinde camp. And what we are picking up from our sources who are actually manning the logistics for Mr. Shinde here and his team, we are getting clear indications that not only two senior MLAs are expected to reach here any moment, but by the end, by a couple of hours, they actually expect about 44 to 46 number of MLAs to be inside. That would mean that apart from these two, another 4 MLAs or Shiv Sena leaders who are close to Mr. Shinde would arrive here. And what we are picking up is that their stay might not be a brief one. Maybe at least they would be here for another 48 hours. That's what our sources are telling us. So their long drawn plan is there. In fact, therefore, the hotel has been booked for 7 days. 70 rooms have been booked, and one of my source who is in know of things, who is inside the hotel manning the logistic, clearly said that all the 70 rooms are not booked for MLAs. There will be leaders coming in. They're expecting some MLC as well as some MPs of Shiv Sena
so
to
let's
arrive.
just look, Ratnadeep, at that
That's
point
what
you're making 7 days, but I think actually it's this weekend which is going to be decisive. And sort of just if we go through various political scenarios, because remember, yesterday there was talk of Eknath Shinde being offered Chief Minister by Uddhav Thackeray. There's no confirmation, no direct rebuttal. But the first political scenario seems to be that now Eknath Shinde has got 37 Sena MLAs as seen on the video, and he has then 2/3 of MLAs. So these Shiv Sena MLAs, unlike Maharashtra and Karnataka, will not be disqualified. The majority won't go down, but they seem so far to be gathering the numbers pretty fast to actually go and stake claim to the governor. So what is the likelihood you're hearing? We're also hearing that Uddhav Thackeray is in touch with Supreme Court lawyers to see if he can mount a legal challenge.
That's right. Uddhav Thackeray will do everything possible to save his government, more importantly save his party, and Eknath Shinde will try and do everything possible to now prove his point, given that he's led this rebellion and can seemingly seem to dictate terms from there, having had the numbers in his favor. Now, what are the possible scenarios? That's what we are now looking at, given that the numbers seem to favor Eknath Shinde. Well, one of that is Eknath Shinde gets the majority, meets the governor, stakes claim, and says that he has 2/3 of Sena MLAs with him. And then, of course, the governor calls for a floor test and Uddhav Thackeray resigns, or he has to manage to win back his MLAs before the floor test. In this very possibility, there also exists the possibility of the Sena extending support to the BJP as the single largest party, and Devendra Fadnavis then can take over as CM, and Shinde then becomes the deputy CM. But it could also be that Sena MPs who join Shinde get prime cabinet berths in the new government. Or the other interesting scenario could be that the BJP supports Shinde and he becomes the chief minister as of Maharashtra with the BJP support. But that, Sonia, is very unlikely. BJP is the single largest party. They're not going to settle for that. The second scenario, let's talk about that. Well, that of course is that, Uddhav Thackeray gets back his rebel MLAs. He then agrees to the Shinde proposal and quits the alliance.
That seems like it's
and of course,
miracle,
the government
right?
falls.
That seems like
and then, of course, the unlikely.
Yes. Is it likely, Saurabh, as we're saying, that Uddhav Thackeray will lead this alliance to hold on to the Shiv Sena, that he can actually agree to ally with the BJP, make Shinde deputy chief minister and stay the president of the party?
For Uddhav Thackeray, he has to save the party. At this point, sources close to the chief minister says that he's in no mood to compromise with the BJP, and he's willing to rebuild his party from scratch if all of them go. So not amenable to that yet, but this is politics. Things can change.
Right, Saurabh, thanks so much for that. And of course, we heard just a short while ago, the architect, the political guru of Maharashtra politics, Sharad Pawar, in his 80s, still the strongest and tallest leader in Maharashtra. And he's saying, because remember, there are always skeptics who say Sharad Pawar will pull a googly. What if he goes to the BJP? He says he's with Uddhav Thackeray till the last struggle. He's told the NCP to get ready for struggle. And he also said, let's not talk about majority based on these videos you're seeing. Majority is only proven on the floor of the House.
सरकार माइनॉरिटी में है या नहीं, ये एस्टेब्लिश करने का रास्ता विधानसभा है। विधानसभा में जब फ्लोर टेस्ट हो जाएगी तो पता लगेगा कि ये सरकार मेजॉरिटी में है।
And very importantly, Nana Patole, the Maharashtra Congress chief, has said that if it is needed, the Congress can support the government from outside. Now, that's very important because the whole grouse of Shiv Sena MLAs was that the Congress had more portfolios, the NCP Congress had better portfolios than the Sena. The Congress indicating it's ready to sacrifice portfolios to save this government. Let's just look at all the big developments today so far.
Is it game over for Uddhav Thackeray? 42 MLAs, at least 37 of the Shiv Sena, in this video shared from Guwahati today by Shiv Sena rebel Eknath Shinde's camp. A number that appears to be enough to split the Shiv Sena without getting disqualified under the anti-defection law. It's enough to dislodge Uddhav Thackeray as Maharashtra CM, and perhaps good enough for the Shinde camp to stake claim to the party too. Mr. Shinde tweeted this letter from an MLA in his camp to Uddhav Thackeray, accusing the Maharashtra Chief Minister of shutting his doors to them and neglecting his own party leaders for years. In Mumbai, the first open admission that Uddhav Thackeray has lost the numbers from his close aide and senior party leader Sanjay Raut, who dared the rebels to contest elections or merge with the BJP.
कल उद्धव जी ने भी कहा है और मैं भी कहता हूँ, जिसको जाना है वो जा सकते हैं, लेकिन फिर एक बार चुनाव में जित कर आकर दिखाइए। ये जमीन शिवसेना की है, ये जमीन बाला साहब ठाकरे जी की है, हमारी है। कोई विधायक दल का एक गठ टूट गया, फूट गया, उसका मतलब पार्टी खत्म हो गया ऐसा नहीं। हम बार बार एक फिनिक्स पक्षी की तरह जमीन से उठकर आकाश में उड़ गए हैं।
But on camera defiance apart, it seems that Uddhav Thackeray's support is reducing day by day. A source told me today that in today's meeting that was chaired by CM Uddhav Thackeray, only 13 MLAs were present.
Two of these 13 MLAs, Nitin Deshmukh and Kailash Patil, had sided with Eknath Shinde but returned to Mumbai and claimed they had been threatened by Shinde's camp.
त्या 20-25 पोलिसांनी अक्षरशः मला हात पाय धरून कोंडून असं अक्षरशः उचलून लाल रंगाच्या गाडीत कोंडलं। जसा त्यांनी सांगितलं मला हार्ट अटॅक आला, तसा माझ्या लक्षात आलं की आपला घातपात करण्याचं हे गुजरातचे जे अधिकारी लोक आहे, जे प्रशासन आहे, या सरकारचा इथं घातपात करण्याचं षडयंत्र निश्चितपणे आपल्याकडे आहे।
2 ट्रकांच्या मधून मी चालत जवळपास जी 1 किलोमीटरची लाईन लागली होती त्या तिथं आलो। भावना अशी का झाली की ज्या शिवसेनेनं मला जिल्हा परिषद सदस्य केलं, ज्या शिवसेनेनं मला पक्षप्रमुखांनी जिल्हा प्रमुखाची जबाबदारी दिली, मला आमदार केलं, अशा शिवसेनेशी प्रतारणा करणं म्हणजे माझ्या तत्वात बसलं नाही।
The Shiv Sena and the BJP, as parties that profess to Hindutva as their core ideology, contested the 2019 elections together. But after the assembly elections, the Shiv Sena tied up with the ideological opposites, the Congress and the NCP, over what it claimed was a broken promise and betrayal over the chief ministership of the state. Today, Deepak Kesarkar underlined that the Sena and the BJP had been in alliance for 25 years and it was the natural alliance partner for the Shiv Sena. Meanwhile, the BJP says it has nothing to do with the Sena's current internal rebellion. Sena MLA Deepak Kesarkar, who joined the rebels in Guwahati this morning after being seen with the Thackerays till 2 days ago, told NDTV the rebels do not want Uddhav Thackeray to resign as Maharashtra Chief Minister, but to form an immediate alliance with the BJP, a party the Shinde camp says complements the Sena's core Hindutva ideology.
अभी वक्त नहीं है और देर करने का, आपको जो भी डिसीजन लेना है लीजिए, लेकिन लोग चाहते हैं कि आप बीजेपी के साथ जाए। Our anger is not on CM sir, it is on the allied partners.
With the last 2.5 years of the coalition's existence at stake, sources say Congress and Sharad Pawar's NCP have suggested that rebel Eknath Shinde be named as Chief Minister as a way out of the huge political crisis that has engulfed the ruling coalition. Mr. Pawar today held a party meeting in Mumbai amid the political instability.
महाविकास आघाडीचं सरकारमधले प्रमुख उद्धव ठाकरे साहेबांना पूर्णपणे पाठिंबा देऊन राष्ट्रवादी काँग्रेस पक्ष शेवटपर्यंत हे सरकार कसं त्या ठिकाणी टिकेल याबद्दल प्रयत्न करत राहणारे प्रयत्न करणारे तशा पद्धतीनं आम्ही काम करतोय. आघाडी सरकार टिकवण्याच्या संदर्भातली आहेत तिथं आमचा एक सर्व आमदार आमच्या बरोबर आहेत, सर्व विधिमंडळाचे सदस्य बरोबर आहेत.
Back in Guwahati, there were big protests by opposition Congress and TMC who asked that why focus was being diverted from the massive Assam floods at a time when lakhs have been displaced and many lives lost. With Saurav Gupta and Sohit Mishra in Mumbai and camera person Sanjay Chakrabarti, I'm Akshay Dongre for NDTV.
But NDTV is not diverting its focus. Our report tonight on the town of Silchar, which is completely submerged in Assam. There's been unprecedented flooding in Silchar after the heavy rain, more than 100% over normal, with almost 3 lakh people affected. The Assam Chief Minister, also stung by political criticism, has been out on lifeboats doing aerial surveys and has even said that, well, it's good that MLAs are in his state because it gives the flood-hit state much needed revenue.
From playing a hands-on host to the Shiv Sena rebels to handling the flood disaster, Assam's Chief Minister is treading a fine line between his party's political work and the opposition's criticism. Earlier, he fobbed off allegations that he was more focused on the Sena rebels than the floods which have displaced people. Today, Sharad Pawar, the architect of the Maharashtra ruling alliance, which is now falling apart, tweeted demanding the immediate intervention of Sarma's government. Unprecedented flooding in Silchar, southern Assam's largest town, with almost 3 lakh people affected. Silchar is the gateway to 3 other Assam districts and the main national highway to neighbouring Mizoram. Also passes through the town. In some areas of Silchar, the water has entered even first-floor homes, forcing people to take shelter on roofs. The Indian Air Force is airdropping relief material to residents using choppers.
पूरा टाउन में वाटर है. यही 2.8 लाख पीपल में हमारे ऑफिस का स्टाफ, हमारे ऑफिसर्स, सामान देने वाला ग्रोसर्स, लेबर, ड्राइवर सभी यही इसी में फंसे हैं. तो आपको ऑप्टिमम फैसिलिटीज हम नहीं दे पा रहे हैं.
Across Assam, nearly 55 lakh people have been affected by the floods. In neighbouring Meghalaya, heavy rains have disrupted life in the Garo Hills region, where roads are blocked, bridges washed away and power supply disrupted, jamming mobile and internet services.
बहुत ज़्यादा इस बार नुकसान हुआ है अलग अलग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स को. और अगर आप साउथ गारो हिल्स डिस्ट्रिक्ट को देखें तो शायद मेरे ख्याल से सबसे ज़्यादा जो है इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वाइड स्प्रेड जो है इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डैमेज साउथ गारो हिल्स में हुआ है. और बहुत सारे रास्ते, बहुत सारे ब्रिजेस जो हैं वो टूट गए हैं और इन सबको अभी वापस लाने में समय लगेगा.
There's very little scope of improvement in the situation given the forecast. It will continue to rain heavily over the next 5 days in both Assam and Meghalaya. With Ratnadeep Chaudhary, this is Divya Wadhwa for NDTV.
The other big headline, the NDA's presidential candidate Draupadi Murmu arrived in New Delhi today. She was greeted by top BJP leaders and met the Prime Minister. Tomorrow, she will be filing her nominations. The Prime Minister will be with her, as will MPs and top BJP leaders, including MPs from Naveen Patnaik's party and Jagan's party. So far, it's still not clear if the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha will support Ms. Murmu.
Draupadi Murmu meeting the Prime Minister today, ahead of filing her nomination papers tomorrow as a candidate for the presidential elections. As the tribal leader from Odisha arrived in the capital, the support for her grew. The numbers are now in her favour. With the Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik not only announcing his party, the BJD's support, but coordinating with the BJP in jointly endorsing her papers.
सारे जो राजनीतिक दल है, चाहे वो एनडीए में हो या यूपीए में हो, they will find it very difficult to oppose the candidature of the NDA's nominee.
However, parties like Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party and Asaduddin Owaisi's AIMIM are still not willing to open their cards.
पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय संयोजक और दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी पार्टी का शीर्ष नेतृत्व राष्ट्रपति चुनाव के संबंध में फैसला लेगा और जब तय हो जाएगा सबसे पहले आप लोगों को जानकारी देंगे.
But opposition parties are gearing up for a contest, with Yashwant Sinha, who quit the TMC a couple of days ago, for this.
ये लड़ाई है मुद्दों की, ये लड़ाई है भारत के संविधान को बचाने की.
We have all respects for Madam Murmu. Presidential election Chunav has become Chunav between two ideas. Idea of India projected by BJP RSS, idea of India we project as secular democratic parties, left parties.
Draupadi Murmu will file her nomination on Friday, while Yashwant Sinha will file his nomination on Monday.
Government seems confident that its decision to field a tribal women candidate will help it win support from many non-NDA parties. Government knows that the bigger is the number of parties supporting its official candidate, the bigger dent it will be able to make in opposition unity. In Delhi with Sushil Rathi, Himanshu Shekhar for NDTV.
And the worrying news is a steep rise in COVID cases. Our daily cases are the highest now since the end of February. The Health Minister chaired a review meet today amid this sharp COVID spike. What's also worrying is that while the Health Minister urged officials to ramp up testing and vaccination, is the high number of deaths. In the last 24 hours, we had 13,330 new COVID cases, up 9% from the previous day. Also, active cases up 5.6 times in 1 month, with the average daily cases doubling in 2 weeks, and 38 new COVID deaths, of which 20 are backlog deaths from Kerala, but it still raised our death average, and it's still not clear why the deaths are coming in so much later from Kerala. The R factor now is above 1, that is each infected person is infecting more than one person. Well, a quick look at some other news. In the AIADMK leadership battle, water bottles were flung at ex-Deputy Chief Minister OPS, who stormed out of the meeting. The ex-Chief Minister EPS now has the edge to be the top AIADMK leader. The point of contention is that earlier, after Jayalalitha, the AIADMK had a dual leadership of both OPS and EPS, and now OPS is being shunted out, with the AIADMK to vote on whether there should be singular leadership of the ex-Chief Minister EPS. In a radical decision, Delhi has announced that it will ban trucks and heavy good vehicles from October to February every year, beginning this year. The aim is to reduce air pollution. This will see if it actually works in these 5 months. So an extremely radical move there. Let's see the impact. Hopefully it will work on having an impact in air pollution, with Delhi the most polluted city in the world in the winter months. And as we end tonight, well, we all saw those visuals of MLAs being rushed from here to there with heavy security. But here's some security that's really needed. This is an elephant herd comes together to escort a baby elephant in what is only Z++ security.